Hello, dear student. I welcome you once again as we proceed with the Bible knowledge in Form 3. We are still analyzing the work of Prophet Isaiah, and today we are looking at the Prophet Isaiah and King Ahaz. I am your teacher, W.A. Mawowa. I ask you to be there and follow through up to the end as we still embark on Proto Isaiah. Now, by the end of this lesson, we should be able to understand, still analyze the work of Isaiah, how he interacted with the King Ahaz. So it's another good part that we are going to center much on chapter 7. So be there as we work through together up to the end. Now, we need to look at the background to how the prophet interacted with the king or King Ahaz. So Ahaz was Jotham's son. So Ahaz, who was Jotham's son, became king, the next king of Judah in 735 BC. So remember, last time we were talking about the core of Isaiah. Now we said that this vision of Isaiah, possibly it was there, it took place during the time when Jotham was being made king. But then we are talking of this Jotham had a son by the name Ahaz, and he became the next king of Judah in 735 BC. So soon after Ahaz was made king, he was approached by King Rezin of Syria and King Pekah of Israel, asking him to form an alliance against Assyria, to which Ahaz refused. So here there are two kings that I mentioned, King Rezin of Syria and King Pekah of Israel. They asked for an alliance with Judah, with Ahaz, King Ahaz of Judah. So there is King of Judah, Ahaz, King of Syria, Rezin, and King of Israel, Pekah, who was called Pekah. So these two kings of Israel and Syria, they wanted to join Judah to make an alliance against a superpower by the name Assyria. But Ahaz, king of Judah, refused that one. So at this time, the Assyrian king Tiglath-Pileser III targeted Egypt in his plan of expanding his empire. Remember, we just mentioned that Assyria was the superpower. So Tiglath-Pileser III was the king or the emperor of this Assyria. So he wanted to expand up to Egypt, from Assyria to Egypt, so that they had a very big empire. So for this to work, he had to conquer Syria, Israel, Judah. So before he expand his territory up to Egypt. So Ahaz's refusal to join the alliance made Pekah and Rezin, the kings of Israel and Syria, threatened to attack Jerusalem, the capital of Judah, to replace King Ahaz with Tabil's son. So here we are saying that Pekah and Israel, Pekah and Rezin, they also joined an alliance. They threatened Judah, they threatened Ahaz to come to Jerusalem and attack Jerusalem and defeat Ahaz and remove Ahaz, so that they put Tabil's son as now the king of Judah after defeating Ahaz. That's what these two countries wanted. That is Syria and Israel. They wanted to attack Judah and remove the king Ahaz and replace that king with someone who was called Tabil's son. So God, through Isaiah, informed Ahaz that he should not be threatened by Syria and Israel, because they had no power and would soon be destroyed. So it was during this time that God sent prophet Isaiah. So that's why today we are saying that Prophet Isaiah and King Ahaz. what was the interaction. So we have known now the background here about what was happening there. The superpower was Assyria, who threatened to attack all other smaller countries up to Egypt. But these smaller countries, which included Judah, which included Israel, and Syria. So don't confuse Syria and Assyria. Assyria was the superpower, the bigger country. Syria was a smaller country which wanted to join hands with Israel and Judah so that they are powerful to defend themselves against Assyria, the superpower. But when these two countries, Syria and Israel, they came to Judah to ask for alliance, Judah refused. And Judah, by that time, the king was Ahaz. So it was during this time that Isaiah was sent by God to meet with the king to never be threatened by these two countries, Syria and Israel, because they threatened Jerusalem or Judah for refusal to join that alliance. Hence, God intervened there to say, don't fear these two countries. They are small, Syria and Israel. They cannot threaten you. So God told Isaiah to tell Ahaz just to put his trust in God. But instead of Ahaz trusting in God, he sought for help from Assyria. So see now, then after the threat came from Syria and Israel, then Ahaz went to that superpower for assistance to say, do you see these smaller countries, Syria and Israel, they want to threaten me. So later, Assyria attacked and destroyed Damascus in 732 BC and invaded it and destroyed Israel in 721 BC. So what happened then? After that, then Assyria, the superpower, destroyed Syria. That's why Damascus was the capital city of Syria, and destroyed Israel there in 721. And all the people of Israel there were taken out of their land. They went to Syria, to Assyria there, where they never came back to this day. So it was only Judah that was left there. So Judah was saved from Syria and Israel, but at a cost in that she lost her independence and had to pay tribute to Assyria every year. So any refusal to do that, it would attract a heavy punishment. So what happened here now, what followed was that after Assyria defeated Syria and Israel, then it meant that Judah was rescued from that threat. But there was a cost for that. It meant that Judah was not independent anymore. They had to pay the tribute. A tribute is we can talk of some money that can be paid to another country. So that was a tribute that was paid. They were to pay each and every year. If they were to fail, therefore, punishment would follow. But now, what political fear preoccupied Ahaz at the beginning of his reign? So we have seen the overview now, the background, the whole of it now, the background of this interaction between Ahaz and Isaiah. Isaiah was sent by God to Ahaz, King Ahaz. So the political background, now we know it. So what political fear preoccupied King Ahaz at the beginning of his reign? It was the alliance between Syria and Israel which plotted against him, just as we have explained. So explain why Ahaz and the people of Judah became terrified with the threat by Syria and Israel. So people of Judah, they were afraid, including the king. Why were they afraid of Syria and Israel? Because they would lose their property, they would lose their land, it would result into deportation. They would take them away. It would result into destruction of Jerusalem. It would result into the destruction of the temple. So people were afraid of that. How did Ahaz react to the threat? The threat by Syria and Israel. How did he react? We have mentioned that one. So he burnt his son as a sacrifice. So it means that the king here had no option. So he said, God, if you can receive any sacrifice, I am offering my son here as a sacrifice. He burnt his son as a sacrifice. He made an alliance with the Assyria for protection against the Syria and Israel. So it means, really, this fear was really terrible. He made an alliance with the enemies. And he inspected the tunnel of Jerusalem's water supply and defense mechanism. So always he went to the things to inspect the water supply of Jerusalem to say, are there enemies already in the land? So it means the king here, he was really terrified. So why did King Ahaz make an alliance with Assyria, the enemy? He was pro-Assyrian like his father, King Jotham. So on the other hand, Ahaz, he liked the Assyrians. He was afraid of the Syria and Israel combination. So we see here, he was afraid of the Syria and Israel combination. He believed also Assyria would not attack Judah to say, we have already been friends. Even my father were friends with Assyrians. He trusted the power of men more than God. So that's maybe what can say why he made that alliance. Why did Isaiah disapprove or became against the alliance or Isaiah? So why did he disapprove? That is the prophet. It showed lack of faith and trust in God. And there was no need for Judah to panic because God had already arranged for the destruction of Syria and Israel. So history is controlled by Yahweh and not Kings Pekah and Rezin of Israel and Syria. Alliances had bad or evil effects or consequences. So Isaiah saw to it that any alliance would not help at any time. So what were the consequences of the alliances? So worshipping of Assyrian gods as a condition for protection. So Judah would worship foreign gods because now they were not independent. They were under the Assyrians. And it led to more corruption and oppression of the poor. It led to consultation of fortune tellers, mediums, for the future, as an assurance for the future. It led to the practice of sacred procession and fertility rites in honor of Assyrian gods, like that. And protected people started copying the things that were done in Assyria there. So they were really the consequences that we can say that the consequences were that the people now, they started moving away from God, having all the faith on God. Now they started trusting other things. Describe the actual results of Judah's alliance with Assyria. What really happened? So Judah started paying heavy tribute. They allowed the worship of foreign gods and also the practice of pagan religion. So tribute, foreign gods, pagan religion, it all started in Judah. But how do alliances help people today? There are alliances today. We hear this political party has joined an alliance with this. We are an alliance with this country, like that. They help nations in doing trade. That's why we hear about SADC, whatever. It's an alliance of countries in a certain direction or a certain aspect which they have agreed, maybe trade and other things. They help nations in getting military support or help minority government to function well, especially in parliament when there's alliances there. They help individuals to get any form of assistance from others. So usually you get assistance from your friends, your enemies, even if they give you a help, sometimes you doubt, is there no poison here? We are not friends anymore, but how can he assist me? So alliances are there maybe to get assistance. Now, for the message for the king, a message for the king or for King Ahaz, when we read Isaiah, in Isaiah chapter 1, chapter 7, verse 1 through 9, there is the whole message that is carried there, that is talked about there. So I'll read just verse 1. When King Ahaz, the son of Jotham and grandson of Uzziah, ruled Judah, the war broke out. Rezin, king of Syria, and Pekah, son of Remaliah, king of Israel, attacked Jerusalem, but were unable to capture it. So we see that Syria and Israel attacked Judah, but they were unable to conquer it. So describe the political threat or situation which faced King Ahaz at the beginning of his reign. So we see that there was a war that broke out from Israel and Syria. So these two kings, they wanted to replace Ahaz with a certain Tabel's son. So what was the reaction of King Ahaz of Judah? So King Ahaz and the people of Judah, they were so terrified that they trembled like trees shaking in the wind. When you read that passage, it is mentioned that the people were trembling. They were shaking like trees in the wind. Relate God's instruction to Isaiah. So at this time now, God talked to Isaiah. So what did God say to Isaiah as a way of sending him to the king? So God said to Isaiah, take your son Shear-Jashub and go and meet King Ahaz. You will find him on the road where the cloth makers work, at the end of the dish that brings water from the upper pool. So this is what God instructed King Isaiah to take his son Shear-Jashub and go to meet the King Ahaz. So where was Isaiah to meet King Ahaz? On the road where the cloth makers worked, by the end of the dish that brought water from the upper pool. It's mentioned like that. So why did Ahaz go to the place where Isaiah was to meet him? So he went there to inspect the tunnel for Jerusalem's water supply. Remember, we mentioned that he was afraid to say, are the enemies have they invaded our water supply systems? To inspect the tunnel that would also be used for or as a defense mechanism in times of siege. So he was there to see if Judah was still safe. But what was God's message to the king now? What was Isaiah to say to the king? So this was the message. Keep alert, stay calm, do not be frightened, do not be disturbed. The anger of King Rezin and Pekah is no more than smoke from the two smoldering sticks. So that's what we see as the message that was sent. If you read that passage, the whole of it, that's what the message was sent to King Ahaz by Isaiah, through Isaiah from God. So he said, keep alert, stay calm, do not be frightened. Do not be disturbed. The anger of these two kings that have invaded your country, it's not very much anger. How did Isaiah convey the message to King Ahaz? So by action, since he took his son Shear-Jashub as a sign. So by word also, since he told the king to keep calm, alert, and not to be frightened or disturbed. So he did that. He conveyed the message in that way. So which nations were likened to two smoldering sticks? So the nations that threatened Judah here are two. Which one? Syria, not Assyria, but Syria and Israel. They are the two countries that threatened Judah. Where were the nations? Why were the nations, these two nations, likened to two smoldering sticks? Why were they said the anger of these two countries is not big? It's just like the smoldering sticks that are just producing smoke, but not fire at all, because they were weak and soon they would be defeated. God said that they were all weak and they would be defeated soon. So what was the plot of Syria and Israel? To invade Judah, to terrify the people into joining their alliance, to put Tabel's son on the throne of Ahaz there as the king. And why did Syria and Israel plot against Judah? To terrify the people so that they join their alliance and to replace the king. So, what reasons did God give to prove the plot of Syria and Israel? So, what reasons did God give to prove that the plot of Syria and Israel would not succeed? So, he gave reasons. So, Syria was no stronger than Damascus, its capital city, and Damascus is no stronger than the king himself, King Rezin. So within 65 years, Syria will be destroyed. And Israel is no longer stronger than Samaria, its capital city. And Samaria is no stronger than Pekah. So what is being described here is that they are weak. These countries are weak, to say the country is not stronger than its capital city. And the capital city is not stronger than its king. So look at that. Can that happen? A country being weaker and the capital city stronger, and the capital city weaker and the king strong? No, no, it cannot happen. So he was trying to prove a point to say these countries, they are not strong at all. What was the response? What was the response of Ahaz to the message? So he neither took the warning nor accepted the advice. So he didn't get the advice. So what does the name Shea Jashab symbolize or mean? A few will come back. There will be a few remnants, or a remnant shall return. So that's the meaning of the name Shea Jashab. A few will come back. There will be a few remnants, or a remnants shall return. Explain the two applications of the meaning of Shea Jashab. So what would be the meaning of the remnants shall return? A few shall return. So positively, it means that not all people will be destroyed, as some shall remain. Negatively, it means that many people will perish and only a few will survive or remain. So it has got two meanings there. Positively, while this danger is really big, it has a potential of wiping out everyone, but a few will remain. Negatively, many people will perish, but only a few will remain. So both ways. Smoke from two smoldering sticks. What does that mean? Israel and Syria are no longer a threat, as they are weak and will soon be destroyed. So the smoke from the smoldering sticks. A smoldering stick is something that you use to make the fire to reach higher. So that one is not part of the fire. It's just there to make it. But when you remove it, it only produces smoke. It has got not real fire there. So that is the implication there. No stronger than. So what does that mean? Kings Rezin and Pekah of Israel and Syria are mere creatures and can be destroyed by God. Hence, Ahaz should not be afraid of them. The threat that was posed by these two countries, it was really big, that Ahaz and the people were afraid. But God said that they are no stronger than, which means that they are mere creatures. They can be destroyed anytime. If your faith does not endure, there is a statement there which says that if your faith does not endure, you will not endure. What does that mean? Ahaz should trust in Yahweh or risk destruction. At this time when the danger was really coming, the only faith that the king had was to put the trust in God. Trust in God or be destroyed. So that's what that means, to say Ahaz should trust in God or risk his destruction. Now, to this far, we have come to the end of our lesson today. On this lesson, we're looking at King Isaiah and King Ahaz. There was a message from God that the prophet took to the king. So what was that message? We have analyzed the message. We have analyzed the political background to the message itself. itself. But here with me, I also have another exercise for you to do, which I have also taken from the MANEB past papers. So in the year 2000, there was a question that came during MSc. So there then, this is the question. So please try to go through this question, copy the question, answer the questions, and try to answer them all. Respond to them, and you can share with me how you have responded. I'll give you the feedback on the same. So thanks for following, but for further consultations, still more, you can consult xulendo.org. So there on Xulendo, there are also other materials for other subjects that would assist you on your academic journey. And for other resources, you can also consult some of these references. There are also other many open sources like the pamphlets that are there, so you can also use them apart from the books that are there. So until next time, listen to the voice of substance. So follow through these materials each time you are a student. So until next time, I'm your teacher, W.A. Mawowa. Thank you so much.